Good morning, everybody. This is Roger Thunder with the Ancient Soul Surfing Association. Today I'm going to weave an intricate web, let's say, between yoga and surfing and how really they are one and the same. In doing this, I'm going to incorporate some clips from a documentary entitled Gerry Lopez at Uluwatu in Bali teaching yoga. Famous surfer Gerry Lopez. I might put in some other clips, and also I'm going to put up some notes on the screen so that you can, and I will read the notes so that you can really comprehend what I'm talking about here. And so I think it'll be very beneficial to the people in the Ancient Soul Surfing Association, and I'll talk more about that later. So let's jump right into it here, and in order to do that, I will jump to some of the notes that I have here in front of me from the research that I have done on this. Let's start with the basics here and jump right to a yoga word called asana. The word asana, and it shows the Sanskrit here, originates from Sanskrit, the classical language of ancient India. Its root is as, to sit, to be present, or to dwell. Asana literally means a seat, sitting position, or a physical position intended for meditation. So let me explain something here real quick. The term asana is used a lot in hatha yoga, and we are going to get to that. That's further on in the notes here. But just so people know, an asana is a position or a physical position. And like those notes or that little clip there indicates, originally that position was just a sitting position for meditation. So again, going to this original meaning or historical meaning, I'll read here. In the earliest Vedic and Upanishadic texts, 1500 BCE to 500 BCE, asana primarily referred to a seat for meditation. Not an exercise posture, it symbolized stability and stillness for the practice of dhyana, meditation, and pranayama, breath control. Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, 200 BCE to 400 CE, mentions asana only as a stable, comfortable posture for meditation. The famous definition, and let's see if I can pronounce this here, Satira Sukham Asanam. Satira Sukham Asanam. Posture should be steady and comfortable. No long list of poses, just an emphasis on inner stillness. Now this definition evolved later on, just as all things evolve, and new practices are discovered and added or rediscovered and added, which led to hatha yoga, or let's say a different kind of asana. So I will read an excerpt about that. Hatha yoga text, 10th to 15th century CE, expanded the meaning to include dozens of physical postures for energy control, longevity, and preparation for higher states of consciousness. Modern yoga, 19th to 20th centuries, turned asana into the extensive physical practice we see today with hundreds of poses. Now you've heard me talk about using these asanas or these different positions on the surfboard and the correlation to it as far as the physical aspect. And that's very, very important. That's why I am giving you an introduction into the ancient roots of everything here in a very short time. And so this could be very beneficial to you in your surfing. And that is what the Ancient Soul Surfing Association precepts are based upon, is this concept here. So let me continue on with whether Polynesians practice a form of yoga. The ancient Polynesians who rode the waves, who originated surfing. Did ancient Polynesians practice a form of yoga? Direct historical evidence of a structured system like Indian yoga among ancient Polynesians does not exist. However, when we examine philosophy, movement, and spiritual purpose, there are fascinating parallels. Number one, ocean as the sacred element. Polynesian spirituality revered the ocean as a living force, much like Indian yogic reverence for the cosmic waters, or apa. Breath and mana. Polynesians understood mana, spiritual energy, and ha, breath of life, concepts strikingly similar to Indian prana. Surfing as meditation in motion. Surfing in its earliest form, documented in Hawaii but likely older, was not a sport. It was a ritual and spiritual practice. Surfboards were carved from sacred trees with ceremonies involved. Surfing was an act of union with nature, like yoga's union with the cosmos. Practices requires balance, breath control, presence, and surrender. Let me repeat that. The surfing part requires balance, breath control, presence, and surrender, all core yogic practices. Hula and movement rituals. Hula and Polynesian dance also reflect flowing asanas linking movement to prayer, story, and trance states. So then, is surfing a form of yoga? Absolutely. If we go beyond rigid definitions, yoga means union, to yoke or unite with the self and nature. Surfing demands breath awareness, holding breath underwater, equals pranayama, balance and flow, dynamic asana, presence, meditative state on the wave, surrender to forces beyond control, and let me see if I can pronounce this, Ishvara Pranidhana. Ishvara Pranidhana, devotion to higher power. And that's what we're talking about here, higher power, because the planetary consciousness, the ocean, is connected directly to the higher power. So in this sense, ancient Polynesians may not have called it yoga, but surfing embodies a living yoga of oceanic consciousness. All the things that I have covered up into this point are a preface for what I am about to reveal next. Like I said earlier in the video, I came across a couple of documentaries that indicated that there's someone else, on this planet, or surfer, that is into the same exact thought. And why wouldn't he be? Because it's none other than Gerry Lopez, who has been practicing yoga for, and now is, I consider, a practicing or a true full-blown yogi that came from that whole 60s, 70s Conquer the Pipeline era, uh, the heyday of surfing and all that good stuff, and not only made a name for himself on the surf scene as far as an actual surfer conquering pipeline and things of that nature, but also conquering the business world and introducing different kinds of surfboards and things like that, shirts, surfboards, apparel, whatever, introducing that into the world of surfing on a large scale. The famous Thunderbolt surfboard. So about the same time that I came across some of these documentaries was about the same time that I was formulating this idea, this concept for the Ancient Soul Surfing Association, along with a friend named Matt Ferris that lives on the coast near Oakland. And we were talking about indigenous roots and indigenous practices and spiritual practices and meditation and yoga. And come to find out, bingo, I came to this realization of how intricately weaved that whole thing is with surfing, because surfing, although it became a major sport, that's not what really surfing is all about, people. Not really. Not if you go back to the ancient roots. It's much deeper than that. And people need to realize that today. Because why? Because it's going to be beneficial to them when they're out in the water. Not only will they have an additional protection, all right, but in the practice of yoga with surfing, surfing is yoga, when you realize what's really going on with it, it's a very healthy thing. It's a longevity thing. It's a thing that can prolong your whole essence and your surfing life, being able to surf a lot longer and that type thing, if you incorporate this. So now I'm going to put up a clip from the one of the documentaries about Gerry Lopez and his words from this surf camp that happened in Bali, and also let me start with the words of some younger surfers that attended this camp. And guys there that were there were guys like Rob Machado and people like that. This was very well attended. And so let me start off with what the people that were attending this camp and the young surfers and what they were learning and what they thought of Gerry, and then I will immediately segue right into Gerry's comments, and this will be the portion of the clip from that documentary, which I will post in the show notes below, and you can go to the documentary and view the whole thing, which would be really good to do.
It's just like a really traditional experience of listening to your elders, like forever humans have sat around the campfire or sat around the dinner table and listen to the wisdom of our elders.
You look at him, he's 66 and he's a specimen. He makes everybody look silly when it comes to strength and stamina, and it kind of blows you away. You're like, wait a second, how is this possible?
The first competition, Bali Surfing Club, they have a bunch of like Mike Boyum, Gerry Lopez. He was there. He was starting, put the roots on the seed of surfing in Indonesia.
He's been practicing yoga for a long time now, and it really kind of shows when you sit in a practice with him. And I think the best part is that he's so willing to share that with everyone.
And you don't see a lot of crew his age surfing like that. So that is a real amazing thing to share with those of us who want to be surfing our whole lives and just being stoked with surfing. You know, he's really showing us that you can do that. You just got to look after your earth suit.
I've come to understand that yoga comes into people's lives exactly when it's supposed to. And I didn't realize it at the time that it was my time to connect with yoga. And it kind of dovetailed exactly with my time about getting serious about surfing. It seemed like I was on two different paths, but you know, because sometimes they came close together and other times they seemed to go further apart, and it took a long time to realize that they were exactly the same path, and that the whole healthy surfing lifestyle was really me emulating a yoga lifestyle that was been laid out thousands of years ago and, you know, perfected to a science, literally. Yoga is a scientific method. And I just watched how my whole progress of surfing and yoga evolved, and it took a while for me to realize that they were evolving simultaneously and together. Then I started to see that there was something much deeper about surfing than, you know, I certainly originally thought. I mean, obviously there was something way deep about yoga because, you know, there it was. I mean, it goes back for years. But, you know, I thought about it more and more and went, wow, maybe they're the same. You know, maybe what yoga and surfing are trying to do is tap into exactly the same energy, the prana or the mana. And the Hawaiians were doing it through surfing, and the yogis were doing it by breathing. And one of my purposes is trying to understand that surfing and yoga are really kind of the same.
So I hope you enjoyed the little clip there from the documentary that I viewed, and I will put the, again, like I said before, I will put the link in the show notes below. And I'll also put in a link to our association, Ancient Soul Surfing Association, which embodies these very sentiments that Gerry just expressed. So let me put up the logo here of our organization, Ancient Soul Surfing Association. The one on the left is for the t-shirt, wearing at the beach, let's get the word out. And when this is purchased at the website, you can you're automatically a member of the club, the association, and you will get a membership card, and you will get a newsletter, and you will be informed as to upcoming seminars and surf camps and things of that nature. And on the right is another logo here for us in Ancient Soul Surfing Association, Surfing Yoga, Riding the Energy of Oceania. So I guess I'm going to try to keep this video fairly short today. I just wanted to do this as kind of a introduction, let's say, that I can put out there for people that are interested in this whole concept of oneness with the planetary fluidity of the ocean, a la Moana, the pathway to the sea. So I'm going to leave it there today, and I'm going to leave you with the word aloha, which is a very beautiful word, and which means welcome, gratitude, love, all those things, and aho, which is from Lakota tradition, which means it is good, or like amen. So until I see you next time, this is Roger Thunder saying, until I see you next time.